When I say Northern California, I'm talking like true Northern, like, so it's 2.5 hours north of Sacramento, Redding.
Oh, okay.
If you're familiar with Redding, a lot of people don't even like, oh, I didn't know there was.
Very cool. So let's get into this, man. So here's a couple of things that I want to kind of explore. I think that you're right on point. And firstly, I wanted to thank you for kind of checking out our content on YouTube, on our support channel specifically, and really comparing us to some of our competitors. We're different. We don't really like to compete head on head. That's not really what we like to do. We like to kind of consider ourselves in a different realm, because I think one of the things that makes Dubb really unique is that it's a very sort of preliminary CRM in addition to being a video communication platform. So with Dubb, one of the fundamental differences is that you upload contacts. And when you upload contacts, there's something fundamentally different that happens than with some of the other video programs that you might have checked out. And I think what happens specifically is that there's a lot more customer journey tracking. So knowing that a specific individual is watching a percentage of your video, if they're clicking on a link, if they're clicking on a call to action, if they're opening up an email, that type of data is going to sync up in your Dubb account at the customer level or the contact level. But then also if you have a CRM, like a third-party CRM, a Salesforce, a HubSpot, any number of the hundreds of CRMs that are available, the data is also going to be able to sync to that, assuming that you get some integration set up. So we're integrated with Zapier and PieSync, and we have webhooks. So there's a lot of different options to kind of make that data intelligent and very kind of specific. And I think that, in the case of fundraising or anything when you're dealing with, high net worth individuals, larger organizations, folks where these are significant transactions, you might not get the engagement that you're looking for. They might get solicited or presented with a lot of different options. And I think what's really important is to have that data to be able to understand if XYZ engagement is happening, and then to be able to kind of connect with them and kind of know intelligently that certain tasks were taken, like a video was watched, a button was clicked, so on and so forth. So I think overall, I think it's going to make you a better communicator to kind of know what people are doing on the other end with your video content. So that's kind of the first piece that I'll get into. Dubb is a powerful platform when it comes to fundraising, because I think one of the most important things that's missing from the fundraising process and just the general business development or sort of cold or even warm outreach is this idea of the human connection, the human element, I might call it, being able to connect and share something with the person and really connect with them on an emotional level. And the reason why that's important, I think it's obvious, but it just builds trust. When we see the person and we know who they are, it's almost like seeing them in an office setting or at a coffee shop or in a business meeting. We feel like we can trust them a little bit more. Whereas if it's an anonymous person, with a name and an email and a subject line and text in the body of an email, it's very easy to A, not make that connection, and B, to just ignore it, right? And I think in business, the last thing that we want to be doing is to have our communication be ignored by people. That's just not worth our time. So what do you think about that, Donnie? Do you agree? So I got my 6-year-old here that's going to join us in this business call.
Come on. Hey, buddy. How are you?
Electric screwdriver?
Yeah, that's cool. Cool. I need 10 minutes. So you gotta respect this.
Project.
Yes. Go.
Project.
10 minutes. 10 minutes. Yes. Go.
I remember those days. That's awesome.
So I think it's really important to add that level of humanization and personalization. It's critically important. Okay. So the thing that we always recommend with the videos that we send out for fundraising specifically is to really focus on value. Okay. The reason why it's important to focus on value is because when we solicit or we ask for someone to make some sort of a choice or a financial transaction, then they don't see it as consuming value. They don't see it as valuable to them. They see it as someone that's trying to sell me something or offering me something, right? So I think the first thing that we try to emphasize is figure out, and I know that you're already doing this because you already mentioned this to me, is figuring out ways to provide value. Now, when it comes to fundraising, I presume that really there's two goals. Number one is tax information. Number two is return on investment. Those are the things that come to my mind. I'm sure you as an expert know a lot more things. I think it's really important to educate the person, to come off as a consultant, and to provide that information so that they can say, hey, you know what, this is valuable for me to be able to connect with Brian. This is valuable, and I want to get into that vehicle, right? So I think, a value first approach is really important. I think the length of the videos is also important because these people are busy, right? They're decision makers. I think the content has to be really short, in my opinion. I think that 30-second to 2-minute videos are all you really need. Okay. The thing that we also recommend is to use the playlist feature. So that's kind of a feature that's unique to Dubb. And what that allows you to do is to have an intro video, which it focuses completely on the personalization and the humanization. But then there's kind of a follow-up video, which is maybe something that's evergreen or maybe something that you've recorded that's more longer form. And that's valuable because you introduce it and you record that on a personal basis for every single person that you're going to email. Dubb is very powerful when it comes to campaign management. You can broadcast emails, video emails to large groups. You can broadcast SMS messages to groups. Those are powerful features, but I think for your specific goal, I would actually opt out of those for now. And I would really have you focus on the one-to-one communication, because the one-to-one communication, the reason why that's valuable is because it's just going to make that human connection just a lot more strong, Whereas broadcast messages are just going to be a little bit more generic. With Dubb, I will have to say you can add personalization tokens, hello, first name, company name, but even still, the one-to-one personalized message, with massive amounts of personalized value, I think is going to be the best thing for you. We talked about introductory videos. We talked about the playlist video, the playlist feature. That playlist feature can showcase a video that you record that's maybe general in nature. We have a YouTube integration. So you can take a video from YouTube, your video, someone else's video, and then you can have that be the video that appears after a video that you might present, right? So that video can be repurposed, and that's really the beauty of it. You can use that video on YouTube, you can use it on LinkedIn, so on and so forth. Any questions so far?
No, I guess, well, the only quick question I was going to ask is, so I understand what you're saying. So even that intro video that's more customized, more personalized, what would you say? I mean, would you still kind of connect with that 30-second to 2-minute, or would you maybe, I'm just trying to think out loud here. Yeah. Do you think maybe like a minute, minute or less? I was just kind of curious what your thoughts on that one-on-one communication.
The ones that I do personally for stuff like this, I would say it's about 30 seconds long. Okay. That's kind of like my sweet spot. What I always do, like here's me doing a sample video for fundraising or something, maybe something to kind of a high level decision maker. This is kind of what it would look like. And
I'm sorry, Ruben, can I just take one quick point of differentiation? So just to kind of clarify. So let's just say, for example, a chief philanthropy officer at UCLA, right? So I'm actually trying to connect with UCLA, their chief development person who is out there trying to get funding from all their different donors. And so I'm trying to talk with that individual and explain, hey, I've got this idea that can help you augment the different funding that you're currently doing. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
So my intro would be like, I'm just using UCLA, you're down in Southern Cal. Hey, chief of philanthropy officer, let's say his name is Dan. Dan, my name is Brian, and here's some ideas that I have, knowing that right now with COVID, for example, it's difficult to raise funds. Here's something that can augment your funding. Again, I'm just kind of spitballing here. I need to refine the message a little bit, but the whole goal is that to say, I'm passionate about plan giving, you're passionate about plan giving. Have you thought about this?
That's really powerful. I really connect to that. Some ideas just entered my mind as you were doing that. So I really like the sort of general outline of what you're saying, where there's a problem and there's a solution, right? Yes. Here's the problem. It's fundraising, it's access, it's COVID. There's all this situation that's happening, but then here's the solution. Now, I think it's important to provide a little bit of a glimpse or a teaser on what that solution is. Mm-hmm. So the way that you might consider doing that is actually a screen video. So if you have some sort of a vehicle, some sort of a PDF or a document or a website that you could showcase in a screen video, I think that's going to be a really powerful thing. To be able to say, here's an example of X, Y, and Z. And that is something where you could use the Dubb Chrome extension. So, a 1-2 punch that you might consider here would be a personalized video just on a webcam, and then jump into a generic evergreen video that you use over and over again. And that way you can use that with all the folks in your prospect list. Because that might be a little bit more involved. It might be a little bit longer in nature, but it's going to be tremendously valuable, for them to see what that is. And then, of course, in the spirit of wanting to drive for a call, a conversation, I think it's also important to provide a clear call to action. Listen, if you're interested in learning more, please book a time in my calendar below. Please respond to this email. Please give me a call. Dubb has a calendar integration with all the major calendar systems. So Calendly, Acuity Scheduler, HubSpot, Schedule Once. There's a couple others that we do. Book Like a Boss. Grab one of those. I like Calendly. I like Book Like a Boss. Just grab anyone that you're comfortable with, and then just go through the integration process. We have a lot of support videos for this. Okay. And then you might consider having your call to action be, book a time in my calendar. They can also respond to your email. So it's sort of a choose your own adventure here. But I think that's really going to be powerful. I think the other thing that's really beneficial is, there's chat. Dubb has a chat. So they can send you a real-time chat message, and then make sure you have the Dubb mobile app and notifications turn on. And if they send a chat, you're going to get that, and then you can chat back with them in real time. Sometimes people like to do that because they're curious. It's kind of innocuous. It's a quick way to sort of send chat messages back and forth. So
that's excellent.
Yeah. So calendar, we talked about the calendar integration. We talked about the sort of repurposing content, putting that, video that you might include in a playlist, and then repurposing that video for LinkedIn or YouTube, making that an evergreen video that you can use over and over again. We talked about the chat feature as well. I think overall, I think the theme here really is what you actually touched upon early on, which is adding I think you said it better than I'm saying it. I think you really talked about the idea of adding personalization, a way for people to connect with you and see you, right? I think that's really important here. I'm gonna kind of jump to increasing email open rates, email click rates, email response rates, video watch rates, and then the fifth thing in this video funnel would be bookings, probably bookings, right? So when it comes to email opens, we've noticed we have a lot of data that shows that when you add personalization to the subject line, it's going to help. Adding the person's first name, adding something that's extremely valuable for them. Again, that problem solution statement, adding some element of curiosity. Adding creativity is also really important. If there's some way that you can add a little bit of, personality or a little bit of sizzle factor, that's definitely going to help in that subject line. So the word video is powerful in that subject line. Video for you, that's a powerful subject line. I use that a lot. Yes. Brian, I made a video for you. I made a video for you about the value of video communication. That might be a subject line that I sent you. I'm a junkie for emojis, probably not appropriate for your industry, not sure, but sometimes I use those. Sure. The next thing we're going to talk about is email click rates, right? So in email click rates, I think what's really important here is in the body of the email, I think it's really important to sort of mention, to have empathy, compassion, to kind of put emphasis on the fact that you understand some of the challenges that they're going through, and to mention some of those things and then provide a clear solution, I think is really going to provide some value and build some trust. As a result of seeing that, people are going to want to click on that email. I think another thing is this idea of social proof, social validation. Mm-hmm. Who else do you partner with? What other universities do you work with? Hopefully USC is in there, by the way. Fight on Trojans. That's great. Yeah. So, it's important to mention that proof. Who else validates you? It's not about what Brian May or Ruben Dua says about our businesses. It's about what other people say about our businesses. If you have a link to testimonials, that's a really interesting call to action on one of your videos, right? Let me actually just jump to calls to action on videos, because this is going to really increase your email click rates, but then your video click rates, because I think they're sort of connected to a certain extent, right? Got it. So on your video, once you get that email click, one of the things that you're going to really drive is a click onto your video page. So with Dubb, we have a very powerful suite of call to action tools. There's so many things that you can do, click on a link to go to a website, put a link to an actual donation page, book a time in a calendar. I mentioned that, fill out a form, a Dubb native form, fill out an external form if you have something, go to testimonials, even video reply. There's a lot of powerful features in the calls to action section. So take a look at those and really start to think in your mind, what is my video funnel? My video funnel is getting someone to open the email, read the email, click the email, watch the video, click on the button, and then connect with you. And then, of course, create the business relationship. So, we talked about email open rates. We talked about email click rates. In terms of getting people to watch the video, I think that's all about the context that you mentioned in the body of the email. In this video, I share a really interesting tip and trick, or really interesting, route, vehicle, avenue to solve this problem that you might have. Put a little bit of a reference to what it is that you're going to provide in that video. And then on the video itself, you can have some personalization text. So you can say, I do this a lot. I don't know if you've noticed this, but go to the video info page, click the share and send button. You're going to see a form that said add personalization text. And then you can say in that, hello, Brian May, hello, UCLA, X, Y, and Z. You can add some informational text there. And then when they go to that landing page, that video landing page, on Dubb, that's of course automatically generated, they're going to see that on the top of the video. And when they see that, they say, this video is for me, I'm going to watch it. So that's really going to help your video watch rates. Let's talk about thumbnails. Thumbnails are really important. On the Dubb mobile app, we have a whiteboard feature, okay? And I don't know if I'm going to be able to feature this, but because the webcam doesn't work really well, when I show my phone on it, it just appears as bright light. But what it does is it allows you to put the person's name on a simple graphic on your mobile phone, just using the Dubb mobile app. Okay.
Oh, nice. Okay.
And what that's going to do is that's going to just add a little bit of personalization. So let's see if this works. Hi, Brian. So I added some text here to this page. You got to make sure that the portrait lock is off. And then when you do that, I don't know if you can see that, but you're going to see. So you're going to see your name in there. So, this is a really interesting way to start your webcam thumbnail, to actually just start it like this. Like, hey, Brian, check this out. And the thing about Dubb is that it's automatically going to create an animated GIF from the first 3 seconds of your webcam video, or from any video for that matter. Okay. So it's really important to have the personalization, and then also have it be something that they want to watch and trust, right? So, bring all the happiness that you got. If you have some visuals, if you have whatever it is that you have, bring that to the webcam preview. This also applies to screen videos. So one of the things that I really like to do is I like to show the screen with the person's stuff. So the UCLA website in this case, right? Or the person's LinkedIn profile, or some sort of a visual that shows them that you're thinking about their world.
That's cool. I like that. Yes.
Yeah. So use the Chrome extension or the Dubb desktop app. Record something that's interesting, relevant for them, that they want to watch, that they want to check out, and then have that be part of your webcam. You can also upload a custom thumbnail, and you can select a time in your video on the timeline feature within the editing tab, where you can specify a different thumbnail if you so choose. When you get the hang of it, though, you realize and you kind of know that those first 3 seconds are important. So you make them good. That way you don't have to go back and edit and trim and so on and so forth.
Yes, that makes sense.
Okay, so now the next thing that we'll get into is, we talked about video watch rates, video click rates. We talked about adding the personalization. And then now let's talk about the idea of using Dubb for long-term relationships and for fundraising as a whole, for a long-term career. And this is actually a topic that I really like to get into, because I think it's really important. I think that a lot of people look at videos, specifically videos for sales, as a shortcut, a way to kind of shortcut the sales process. And I don't get that vibe from you whatsoever. I think that what's most important, though, is to think about the long-term relationship. Think about connecting on LinkedIn. Think about subscribing to both people's channels, Twitter, Instagram, whatever it is that you're using. I think it's really important to drive traffic to to those channels so that we can create those long-term relationships. You know, we change careers, we go through our evolution process. So that's another thing that I always recommend doing. One of your calls to action be connect on LinkedIn. You know, it's kind of an innocuous way to sort of connect and sort of be engaged. The LinkedIn integration is also a powerful thing. So I encourage you to go check out some of the support videos, because with the Dubb Chrome extension, you can send people a LinkedIn message, and that's just going to be a very similar experience to email. That, you know, the Gmail integration is powerful through the Dubb Chrome extension, but once again, check out the LinkedIn extension as well.
Hey,
so
Ruben,
that's all possible with the Dubb Chrome extension.
Yeah, and a quick question on that. So back to like where you said, hi, Brian, you said, like, for example, you have to utilize it with your phone. So I'll be showing my phone like as I'm recording a video. Is that what you're referring to?
Yeah, that's exactly right. And the reason this was inspired from this idea of taking a whiteboard that we were noticing that people were doing and just putting the person's name on it and then going like this. And, you know, let's use technology, you know.
100%. No, I 100% agree. I didn't like it because I'm like, I don't want to go get a board and be worried about that piece. It is a little kludgy. So in essence, again, like I would just be holding it up right here.
Yes.
And it would just say, like, you know, hi, Ruben, for example.
That's exactly right. Yeah. So
and I could do that from the desktop as well.
You can do that. Yeah, absolutely. You can do that from the Chrome extension. You can do that from the desktop app, webcam. You know, once you get the Dubb Chrome extension installed, you're going to notice that Dubb is going to populate in a lot of places: Gmail, LinkedIn, you know, dozens and dozens of CRM systems. So do you use a CRM system?
I do not. Actually, it's funny.
Not necessary. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's kind of what I got a little bit from the educational side, is that you can almost utilize Dubb as your CRM, right?
Yeah.
If you don't currently have one.
I agree with that.
There's one I use, and I'm totally, it's escaping me now, like which one. It's a free version. I would like to utilize it, but I don't know. I'm sorry, it's going to drive me nuts. You can keep talking. I'll hopefully.
No worries. Yeah, there's the free ones that I know about are Insightly, or HubSpot has one. There's a couple of cool ones out there. Can Dubb be used as a CRM? I would say yes, with some caveats. What do you think about that, Donnie? Do you agree? The things that we're lacking right now are opportunities, tasks, and lifecycle stage. And I actually am working on those with my tech team. So, you know, we're going to build Dubb into a CRM. So, but you know, with that, I'll get back to homeschooling here, and you know, I hope this was valuable. And please stay in touch. Yeah, absolutely. Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it. My pleasure.
Yeah, I will. I'll definitely. I've already got that downloaded, so I'll make sure I do the Chrome extension. But yeah, thanks again for taking the time, and really bigger picture. Thanks for kind of explaining, you know, how this can be used in a more holistic way, as opposed to just, like you say, facts and features. So thank you. Appreciate it very much.
Yeah, my pleasure. My pleasure. Thanks so much, Brian.
Ruben, have a great weekend.
All right, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Let's go do projects. Come on. This is the problem when you go and destroy stuff for no reason. You break stuff.
I wasn't destroying it for no reason. I was realigning it so that it was straight.
Oh, that's fair.
So that
this is destroyed.
Yeah.
There's no way we're gonna solve this problem.
By new one?
That's like expensive.
Well, at least we can take this apart now, like we did with the
So how do I lock my door? How do I?
I don't know. Don't you think about it. It's destroyed.
How did this happen?
It dropped on the floor.
Okay, hold this light right here.
I mean, it's fixable.
It's not easy.
Not easy at all. But it's not impossible. Hey, should I stick this somewhere?
No,
Where?
not yet. No, I don't need it.
Here? 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 Like that? Like that? Your door is exposed. Oh, you can you are. Yeah.